Hello everyone, this is Dr. Carolyn Maria, working as an assistant professor in Loyola College of Education, Chennai. The title of the course is Childhood and Growing Up, which comes under Course 1. We are going to deal with Unit 1, Growth and Development of Childhood. This is part 1 video lecture which is going to focus on the meaning, concepts, difference and principles of growth and development. This video lecture is planned in such a way that the learner will be able to gain knowledge about growth and development, understand the difference and principles of growth and development. Let's see how life begins. Life starts from single cell and it takes several months and weeks in order to develop into a complete organism. At the time of birth, the children may not be very interactive, but the sense organs are the gateways of knowledge through which each and every individual gain knowledge. Sense organs are sensitized from external stimuli and that sensation is sent to the brain and through which the knowledge is developed. Do you know how many percentage of learning happens to all these sense organs? There are five sense organs: eyes, ears, skin, tongue, and nose. 75% of learning happens through vision. 13% of learning happens through hearing. 6% of learning happens through touch. 3% of learning happens through taste and 3% of learning happens through smell. Let's see one sense organ by the other sense organ. Through eyes, we just see everything. But at the time of birth and soon after the birth, the children will not be able to see much. The pupils react to the light, but bright light appear to be unpleasant for the newborn children. The newborn babies will follow larger objects in the line of vision. By the end of the first month only, a baby can make eye contact and focus on objects about 12 inches away. By the time of 3 months to 4 months only, the baby can distinguish between the color and focus on the smaller objects. This is how the vision starts in a baby. Through hearing, the newborn infant usually makes some responses to the sound from birth. But even before birth itself, the child can hear when the child is there in the mother's womb. The ordinary sounds are heard well before 10 days before their life, before they could even be born. The newborn infant responds to the sounds with a cry or eye movement. You could see children, the newborn children, whenever you call them, they would just rotate their head and they would just respond to you. Touch is the most highly developed sense. It is mostly seen in the lips, tongue, ears, and the forehead of children. The newborn babies are usually comfortable with the touch of their mother. Taste is well developed as bitter and sour fluids are resisted while sweet fluids are accepted by the newborn babies. Proper taste buds will develop after 5 months. That is why we are asked to feed the children with supplementary food after 6 months. Smell. Only evidence of this olfactory senses newborn infant is search of the mother's milk. By the end of the 2 months, the babies can differentiate mother from other people through smell. Let's see what is growth. Growth refers to the increase in the physical signs of the whole body in height and weight. It is simply the quantitative change of the body. It can be measured in kilogram, pound, meters and inches, etc. Kilogram and pound for weight. Height is measured through meter and inches. Let's see what is development. Development refers to the progressive increase in the skill and capacity of function of all the individuals. So it is a qualitative change in child's functioning. It can be measured through observation. You don't have any metrics to measure as we have quantified the growth. This is the growth pattern of the children. So it is very uniform and from head to toe direction. You could see at the time of birth, the children will have very fragile head. Then after slowly by the end of the third month only the head fixes on the body of the child. Then by 6 month you can see the children sitting on their own. By 10th month you can see the children standing with the help of the other people. Then by the end of 12 months, that is by the end of 1 year, you can see the children standing on their own. So this is how their development starts. So this is called as cephalocaudal. In the sense, it starts from the head and it gets over in the toe. And in the other way also, the growth pattern starts, that is proximo-distal. That is, you can see the children having the, for example, whenever you come across with any objects in front of the child, they would use both their hands in order to grab the material. So the strength starts from the fingers, then it goes to the elbow, the hands, then to the whole body. So it is uniformly developed. What are the different types of growth and development? There are two types of growth, physical growth and physiological growth. Physical growth is pertaining to their height, weight, head and chest circumferences. Physiological growth is in relation to their internal organs. What are the five dimensions or what are the five types of development? Physical development, which is related to the physical body, height and weight. Cognitive development, which is in relation to the mental processes. Emotional development, which is in relation to your feelings, emotions and all. Social development in relation to the social interaction. Moral developments in relation to the values of the children. A normal newborn infant, you could see at the time of birth, the average weight would be 2.7 to 4 kg, but the ideal weight should be 3 kg. There will be some weight loss to 5 to 10% by 3 to 4 days after birth because of the water content in the child. Then the weight gained by 10 days of life. The gain of weight, 3/4 of the weight at the end of the first month. Let's see the difference between growth and development. Growth is quantitative because we can measure through numbers in kilogram or pound or meter or inches. Since it is measured through numbers, we can say it is quantitative and which is increase in the size as well as the cell numbers. But development is both quantitative as well as qualitative because the improvement of organs are quantitative and the functioning of organs along with the organ system is qualitative. How well you perform a task, that is what is called as your development. Growth can be observed and measured, but development cannot be measured, but it can be assessed through keen observation, and that observation is in relation to the behavior of the students, behavior of the children even. The growth stops at after maturation is attained. After puberty, all the internal organs will be completely developed and even the height and weight to some extent. So after maturation, after some 30 years of old, maturation happens and after that you cannot see any sort of growth. And this growth is in relation to the internal organs I am talking about as well as your height. But the weight keeps changing, depends upon your food habits and the exercises. But with regard to this development, it is a continuous process. There is no age limit or there is no time limit for the development. Individual differences exist in growth of the children. Same way, individual differences will be there in the development also. All will not grow at the same speed. All will not develop at the same speed. See, for an example, it depends upon the heredity also. How well the parent are. Like if you have a tall parent, obviously you may likely to have tall children. Same way, if the parent are intelligent, you can see the same sort of intelligence in the children also. So growth may or may not bring about development, but development is possible even without growth. You can see children, those who are physically challenged and visually challenged, mentally challenged and all, but they do have a lot of development. So they do not depend upon the growth for the development. Growth is physical as well as external in nature, but in the case of development, development is internal in nature. It is physical, social as well as intellectual. Learning does not much get affected by growth, but learning and experience affect development to the greater extent. Because when you are tall, ultimately you will be called to go for sports and games. So your learning, your experience will affect with regard to your development. Let's focus on the principles of growth and development. Both growth and development are continuous process. It starts from womb and it ends in tomb with regard to development. But with regard to growth, it starts in womb and after maturation it stops. And it both are very slow and a regular process. Both follow a pattern. For example, this growth will be very rapid during the time of infancy. When they come to childhood age, that is infancy is 0 to 1 year. Then when you take childhood from 2 to 7 year as well as 7 to 12 year, this growth will be little slow. I'm not saying that it will stop, it will be little slow. But once again during the time of puberty, that is from 12 to 15 year, you could see rapid growth in the children. Then when they become adult, it will slow down. Like same way with regard to the development also, development is like doing anything, any skill, exhibiting any skill, functioning of all the organs and organ system put together is what called as development. And they are following an uniformity in pattern. For example, growth, according to the growth, height and weight, it will have an uniformity. When you grow tall, accordingly your weight also will increase as well as decrease. So it has a pattern. But with regard to the development, it is also following a pattern. Soon after the birth, you cannot see a child immediately walking. It will take a lot of time. It will take at least 10 months for the child to walk. First, the child turn upside down, then the child starts crawling, then the child will sit, then it will stand, then it will walk. Then after walking, it will run. So this is how development is a uniform pattern. Same way, immediately the child cannot talk. Child will make sound, babble, then only slowly the child can talk. Both growth and development are interrelated. All the five dimensions as physical, cognitive, emotional, social and moral. All these five dimensions of development are influenced because of the growth. And development proceeds from general to specific. For example, when you come across with a small baby of 3 months old or a 6-month old, when you just give the child an object, any play material, any toy, you could see the children using both the hands in order to take the toy. Even if you give a small thing also, the child would be using both the hands. Then as the child grows, when the child comes to 6 month and 8 month and to a 10-month old, you can see the children using only two fingers. The index finger as well as the thumb finger. You can see children using two fingers in order to pick anything. So that is called as pincer grasp. Using thumb finger and index finger in order to pick anything is what called as pincer grasp. When the child is using the entire hand to get anything from other people is called as palmar grasp. So the development starts from general to specific, from whole hand to two fingers. So that is what called as general to specific. But with regard to growth, it proceeds from specific to general. That is from organ to organ system. Each organ will develop and it will be connected to the organ system, and all the organ system put together is there in the human being. There is an integration between growth and development, because for example, if you see a child having good height and weight, obviously parent as well as the teachers would encourage the child to go and join in any sports or games by which the development is enhanced in the children. Both growth and development are predictable. For example, when you see a child, you would immediately relate the child to their parent or to their siblings or to their maternal uncle, etc. When a child is above the height of a normal child, you would relate and say that the child is as tall as the mother or as tall as the father. So like that, and same way with regard to the weight also. If the child is overweight, immediately we would relate to their parent. So it is predictable. When you see the children itself, you would say that as they grow, when they become an adult, they will be very taller or they will be very plumpy. So like that we do predict. Same way with regard to development also, that is also predictable. When you see small children handling good things and having good memory and all, you would be just telling how well the child is very intelligent. The child is as intelligent as the mother or as intelligent as the father. So the intelligent quotient, emotional quotient and social quotient, all these are predictable from the childhood itself. So the growth and development are affected by cultural changes as well as the environment. Depends upon the family custom, depends upon the rituals followed at family, growth and development keeps changing. For example, if we are a very conservative family, if we do not want our children to go and learn outside some extra coaching with regard to curricular or co-curricular activities or some extracurricular activities, that will affect the development of the child. Rather, if you are having progressive thinking as a parent, you can allow your child to get himself enrolled in all these extracurricular activities like yoga, karate, art, craft and all, by which a lot of development are possible for the child. And this growth and development are the product of heredity and environment, because it is complementing each other. When a conducive environment is provided, there is a good scope for growth as well as the development. But whatever the inherited traits with regard to the child, in with regard to this growth, we can change or we can modify those inherited traits by providing them a conducive environment. For example, if the parent are short, knowing that the parent are short, they can motivate their child to enroll himself in any sports or games activities, and they can give them a lot, they can give their children very good activities in order to grow tall. So by which through environment development is possible as well as growth is also possible, growth with regard to the height and weight. So we can modify the inherited traits through providing conducive environment. Individual differences could be seen in both growth and development, because each child is unique and they will grow and develop according to their own speed. So pace is speed. This development is spiral and it is not linear. So it doesn't happen in single line. The development is spiral. For example, any development you take, it will start and it will proceed and it will stop at one point of time. Then it will go back and once again it will proceed. So that is why growth, development is spiral in nature. The key takeaways from this video lecture are: infancy and childhood are very important stages in the development of children. Parents and teachers play vital role in the development of children, especially mother's role is very important. Curriculum and teaching learning strategies based on the individual differences we are expected to provide. Let me ask you some points for you to reflect on. List out the physical and psychological traits you inherit from your parent, both father and mother. Just make a list of whatever trait you have inherited from father separately, mother separately. Find out from whom you have inherited such a lot of traits. That is, find out whom do you resemble more. Then list out the positive and negative attitudes what you have inherited from both your parent. Then think about what are your plans to overcome the inherited negative attitudes from your parent. How are you going to overcome all the negative attitudes whatever you have inherited from your parent? These are some of the very good books for your further reading. Thank you for listening, students.